One thing about this cold weather, there's no more bugs inside here. Hey y'all, it's Gord. Porch Pondering number blah blah blah. And here I am. This time we're talking about BC versus Ontario. What a little difference in political thought can do across this country. This is why, quite a while ago, when I saw the breakdown of the plans for legalization in Canada, I was very pleased to see that they decided to do the same as they did with healthcare, federally managed, federally controlled, but provincially managed. By doing that, as most of you know, I shared this just on my Hippie News Network, that Ontario is proposing 150 to 200 stores, government stores, government control, government employees. The worst. That is the worst thing. Government is no good. They're not even good at doing their own job, never mind doing other people's jobs. And a lot of people sent that note to me, and I did talk about it. I said it's so wrong when there is an existing framework already of stores able, willing, and trained to serve the public. And also, after I shared that, it was shared just a day later when someone else talked to them. Yeah, these jobs are going to be nice, union, $27 an hour jobs. I'm sorry. Ontario government, you know nothing about business and how to promote it. And it's Ontario. Ontario has had full control over liquor since the beginning, since Prohibition ended. They will grab onto that pot and they'll do that, and you know what's going to happen? Everybody in Ontario is still going to, under the table, yes, black market, get it delivered from BC, because they're not going to buy government pot that's grown in Ontario. They're just not. So it's silly. But on a positive outlook, and it's also double positive, I'm going to segue into, hey, this helps Alberta, is the NDP government of BC, in fact, the Premier, John Horgan, I hope I'm saying it right, don't know him that well, and I was surprised by the NDP coming forward with this, is he said he has 5 things that he expects to get done, 5 major talking points about legalizing it in BC. And I'm going to cover these 5 because they're the smartest I've heard of yet. Maybe not perfect, maybe not what I'd want, but a better starting point than having the government run everything. His number 1 was he's not opposed to existing operators, to including existing operators, to putting in a system that benefits those who want to participate as entrepreneurs. Yes, he said we have too many dispensaries. In some places, there's a couple per block. And he says that has to stop. But he says, I'm pretty sure the market will take care of that once it becomes legal. So he's very much talking about a system in place that would use the existing outlets. But he also suggested other possible outlets, but that most important thing, that he's not opposed to working with the existing framework. As he said, BC has more marijuana in it than any of the other provinces. It's where most of it's grown. It's been serving the public since the early 80s. The universities of British Columbia, Simon Fraser University, UBC, have been studying marijuana and its medical properties since the early 80s. So BC already has everything set up. It's almost a matter of turning the switch. Yes, put in a legal framework. Yes, put in some regulations. And yes, it'll require the shutdown of those who don't want to pay attention to those regulations. But it's certainly going to help squeeze out the black or gray market. Number two, he's not interested in a rigid government-run framework. He alluded to the possibility of using pharmacies as one of the distribution points. I'm not against that, as long as it's not only the pharmacies. Number three, he says we should not be in it just for the tax. We have to look at the fact that too much tax, like Washington and Oregon, and you don't do anything, you don't squeeze out the black market. In fact, you maybe empower it. You have to keep the tax low enough that it does society well, but it doesn't increase the black market presence. In fact, squeezes it down. Don't ever think you'll get rid of the black market. It's like bad people. They exist. Black market will always be there. There's some people, no matter, even if that store across the street has exactly what they want, if it's government run, they won't buy it. There's some people, and I understand it, and I support it. We all should have the choice. We are free individuals on this earth. Number four, you said we have to be realistic about growing it. A lot of people have been chastising the government for saying that people will be able to grow 4 plants in their property. And he says, let's be realistic. They've been growing for 40 years. They're going to continue to grow, so why not make it legal? Why enter into another area where we can further harass the people that just want to smoke a plant? And as he said, it's a plant after all. It's a plant. And number five, and the most important one, because a lot of you have shared with me, some of the premiers asking for more time, some of the police asking for more time. And I already said that the guy in charge has told Parliament and all the police chiefs, be ready, because we're not delaying. But BC said, we will be ready. We're going to be ready. We've been given a deadline. We will meet it. So that's John Horgan's 5 points of legalization. The reason I think this helps Alberta is we have the same party, the New Democrat Party, NDP, running Alberta right now for the first time in ever. It's usually Conservatives running it, but the PCs lost the last election. We have an NDP premier. We have an NDP-run government, so very likely our initial framework will mirror that of NDP BC. So let's see, let's hope. Write your MPs and say you like what John Horgan's saying, maybe just a little more freedom in that recipe, please. And I'm freezing cold. It's only 5 degrees outside. It's cold. My neck is in so much pain. I've taken a bunch of CBD and a bit of THC and nothing's helping. It's the change of weather. It always affects the arthritis in my neck. So I'm going to go. This is a longer pondering than usual. I hope you enjoyed it. And I need more subjects. Please, peace and cheers. Love and harmony.